Before I started lifting weights, I was a shy, insecure kid. But after building a more aesthetic physique, I became a shy, insecure kid with a lot more muscle mass and a UFC champion as their best friend. Obviously, I'm joking. I became more social, more confident, and ultimately, fitness did change my life. I haven't found a video on YouTube going over exactly what to expect in terms of benefits from a body transformation journey. So I was like, hey, why not make one myself? So I'll be going over a timeline of benefits you get from your body transformation journey. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mario. I'm a certified personal trainer with the Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science. And if I sound kind of nasally right now, I am a little sick, but hey, body doesn't take a day off just because you're a little sick. I understand the ups and downs of a body transformation because probably just like you, when I first started lifting weights, I sucked at it and I couldn't stay consistent. So ultimately, I kept giving up and this happened multiple times. During this video's timeline, I'm gonna go up to year 5, but I'm gonna start at year 0 for the exact reasons I was just mentioning. And my year 0 was when I was 16 years old. And the reason I call it year 0 is because I didn't make any progress because I couldn't stay consistent. I was 16, yeah, I looked like I was 12, so I knew I needed to lift weights to get any type of confidence or even look like a man. Because I hated looking younger than I actually was. Everybody would mistake me as a middle schooler even though I was a sophomore in high school. And for this reason, I started lifting weights. However, when I first started to go to the gym, I was so intimidated. I mean, I'm not even kidding when I say when I first started to go to the gym, I was so scared. And this is why I want to tell you that the first few times you go to the gym, fear and intimidation is a normal thing. And I've learned as I got older, just because something is scary doesn't mean it's not for you or it's bad for you. I grew up my whole life thinking this way, but when you're scared and nervous, it's just your body telling you it's time to perform. It's time to make a change. And for me, it was time to change my life. And if I took it this way, I wouldn't have wasted my ages of 16 to 18 just going back and forth in the gym, getting scared and not being consistent. I mean, it was so bad, even when I got to the gym, I'd make excuses to leave early. But that was better than what ultimately happened, which would be months and months of me not going at all. However, I do realize it's all part of the journey, but you can have a major advantage if you can reduce the time you spend in a year 0 period. And for me, it was 2 years. But luckily for me, New Year's Day of 2018, I finally started my year 1 period as I started to get consistent. I went with my twin brother to a new gym, which was a 24-hour gym, which is what we needed at the time, as my sleep schedule was so messed up at the time. A 24-hour gym was so beneficial for me because it eliminated all the excuses and also allowed me to go at a time that was the most convenient for me. My brother and I would get to the gym at around 11 p.m. to midnight and wouldn't get back home till 1 or 2 a.m. You'd think it's the summertime, but no, this was during our senior year of high school, which meant we had school at 8:30 the next day. And ultimately, looking back at it now, I wouldn't do this again. But maybe that's a little harsh because I needed this. It allowed me to build discipline and consistency to the point where I've been going into the gym consistently ever since then, which is over 6 years. It laid the foundation of me going to the gym forever. And the benefits you get from year 1, I'm gonna divide into 2 segments. A half year segment and then the full year segment. For the half year, I'm gonna feed off what I just said, which is you build consistency to go to the gym for the rest of your life. During that first 6-month period, you're not entirely consistent, but you're more consistent than you ever have been. You also start getting your technique skill down for exercises. When you first start lifting weights, you're not gonna be good at anything really, especially the exercises. I could not get the deadlift down to save my life, but it's all part of the process. You obviously want to do your best to get the movement patterns down, but don't be hard on yourself when you can't quite get it down. It's fine, it's the life of a beginner in the gym. And during this 6-month period, you don't see very many changes in your physique, however, other people do. During this 6-month period, I was a senior in high school playing soccer. And I was one of the biggest people there because people in soccer, especially in the lower levels, don't lift weights. All of my teammates were telling me how I got more muscular, even though I didn't really see much of a difference. And this is very important because it gives you motivation, which is why I think that this might be one of the most important periods for weightlifting. So do not take this period for granted. Do your research, figure out muscles functions and how to eat properly. Look at what supplements to take because this is what's gonna build you up for the rest of your journey. If you happen to be in this period, I do have a beginner program, which I'll link in the description. Or you can just look at my other content, which goes over all the information you need to be learning during this period anyways. Now, the second half of year 1 is when you actually start seeing a lot of progress. But before we talk about that progress, during this period, I did suffer a lot with acne, which is why it's important to take care of your skin, which is why I'm excited to announce that Teach Hanley is sponsoring today's video. Let's face it, acne really destroys your confidence. It's tough to feel good about yourself when you're dealing with breakouts, and it's hard to find solutions to this. If you're tired of struggling with your skin and finally want to take control, I've got the thing just for you. Teach Hanley is simplified skincare for men with their revolutionary Teach Clear acne systems. Whether you've been battling acne for years or just starting, these systems have everything you need to reclaim your skin. If you're new to skincare, I recommend you start with their level 1 system, Teach Clear Acne Essentials. This powerful system includes all the essentials to combat acne effectively. First, we have their salicylic acne face wash, which penetrates deep to clear acne at the source. Then they have their glycolytic pads, which get rid of dead skin cells, minimize your pores, and gets rid of blackheads as well. And finally, there's their acne serum, which makes your skin stronger to prevent future breakouts. And here's the best part. Over 80% of men who started using Teach Clear systems saw a reduction in their acne in just 2 months. Being honest with you guys, I hit puberty really late and dealt with a lot of acne even into my 20s. And I'd say sometimes now I have some acne here and there. But when I utilize the Teach Clear products, it gets rid of my acne and prevents it from coming later on. I definitely wish I had this when I was a teenager and even when I was in college. And the system comes with an instruction box that tells you exactly how to use each one of the products, making all this stuff even better. And because Teach Hanley is sponsoring today's video, I have an awesome deal for you. Click the first link in the description to get 40% off your first Teach Clear acne system plus a free gift. So don't wait, click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today. The second half of year one is when you finally start really falling in love with weightlifting. When I first started lifting weights, I started lifting weights for other people and getting acceptance from other people. But now, I just loved it and I wanted to lift weights for myself. I obviously did want acceptance still, it's still important to me. However, me being proud of myself, seeing progress in myself was just as important as that at this point. When I first started lifting, I was insecure because I was skinny, yet when I took my shirt off, I looked fat. I just wasn't confident in myself. I felt weak and I thought people viewed me as a weak person. But during the second half of year one, I thought of myself as a super muscular person, even though looking back at it, I really wasn't. But I fell in love with weightlifting. I fell in love with making progress to where that carried me for pretty much the rest of my life. This was one of the periods of my life where my whole purpose revolved around getting stronger, lifting weights, and building muscle. I saw what it was doing to my confidence and everything in my life really, so I was super motivated to build the best body I possibly could. This is also the period people really started noticing the difference in your physique. This period was my freshman year of college, and I was getting tons of compliments about how I was in shape and my body looked great, which actually surprised me because I knew I was in good shape, but I didn't think I was in that crazy of a shape. But lifting weights and building muscle separates you from the average person. So me being in the gym, there's gonna be a lot of other people that look better than me, but just out in my college dorm room where most people aren't lifting weights and just chugging beers all day, yeah, I'm gonna look like I'm in crazy shape. I feel like with fitness, a lot of people forget that you're way better than the average. It is important to compete with those people in the gym, but it's also important to be grateful for what you have and the progress you've made. And let's face it, when you're actually in the real world and you've only been lifting weights consistently for about a year, you're gonna look better than a majority of people. And at this point, not only is your body above average, but also your knowledge about the body and how to eat healthy and just be healthy. Now moving on to year two, which is when you start experimenting with different types of workouts and different techniques. This is a period where I experimented with the dirty bulk, which obviously didn't work. I just gained a bunch of fat for no reason basically, so I basically made no progress for about 2 to 3 months. But hey, on the bright side, now I can tell you that this is not the way you build muscle. Dirty bulks are just not good for your health and for your aesthetics. This is also the time where I started doing lots of research on the best supplements. I even took a bunch of supplements that ultimately, looking at it now, didn't help me. But one of the supplements I took during this time that I did need was creatine, which I started taking consistently at that time and have been taking consistently ever since. You also start becoming crazy strong during this period. I was 155 pounds, yet I was squatting 315 with shaky form, but hey, the fact that I was able to load that up and get down and up is pretty crazy. This is also the time where you actually believe that you are really muscular. I'm in better shape now, but honestly, I would even say that from a mindset point of view, I thought I was in better shape then. During this time, I felt like I was in great shape, and I thought other people thought I was in great shape as well. Not great shape, insane shape. So that thought never left my mind. I identified myself as a guy in insane shape. And during this year, I started to love exercise rather than just building my physique. And this was proven because this year happened to be a COVID lockdown year, so I was locked in my house for about half a year. And a lot of people I know who I saw in my college gym all the time stop lifting weights. But for me, that was never an option. I was lifting 6 days a week at my home gym. I just used whatever I had. At my parents' home, one of the doors is damaged because of how many pull-ups I did with one of those attachments you put on a door. I didn't build as much muscle as I maybe could have if it wasn't locked down just because of progressive overload and adding weight. But this period just showed my love for exercise, which is what I define in this period. Not the love for building your physique, but the love for exercise and being healthy. And during this period, tons of people will start coming up to you asking for advice. If you lift weights for 1 year consistently, you're defined as an advanced lifter. Imagine doing it for 2 years consistently. You're an advanced lifter at this point. At this point, you're gonna be crazy muscular and crazy strong, which is why tons of people, most of them being in my hometown, were asking me for help building their physique and building their strength. I was that guy people came to for fitness advice, which leads into years 3 and 4, which I'm gonna be grouping together, which is when you become an expert and you share your knowledge with everybody else. You obviously are still making progress. I'd say you're more rounding out your physique. For example, with the aesthetic muscle groups, maybe it's your lats or mid delt, you're like fine tuning them, which is gonna allow you to build a better shape. I also noticed I got more vascular during this period, and I started experimenting more with like cutting, and again, fine tuning the aesthetics of my physique. And actually during this period, I got my personal training certification, and I got my Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science, which is just a cherry on top of that. This might not relate to you because maybe you don't want to have a career in fitness. But obviously the reason I started this channel is because I wanted to teach people and share my knowledge about fitness, building your physique, and actually what turned out to be being more athletic as well. And honestly, this was the point where I had an insane physique. I mean, people knew who I was when I walked in the gym. I was super shredded at the time. And the year 4 period was actually when I started branching into athletics more. I started getting into kickboxing during this time because I started to realize that building muscle meant nothing if my muscles couldn't do anything. And now I'm into training people not only for aesthetics, which if you asked me 2 years ago, that's what I thought I would have only trained people in, but athletics as well. And I have 2 workout programs, whether it's the Aesthetic Body Blueprint or Peak Athleticism Package. I'll leave the links to those in the description, or you can work with me one-on-one. Now for year 5+. This period I think is super specific. However, I'm gonna give you my personal take on this period because I can see many people relating to this. And the honest truth is, fitness isn't as important to me anymore. Fitness used to be my whole purpose. If you're talking about #1 purpose in my life, it was fitness. Now, I'd say building my YouTube channel and my business are above that. And you only have so much energy to give to